Hello students, welcome to Anne's classes. Let's do direct and inverse variations, chapter 10, exercise 10a. Exercise 10a is on page number 129. Now I'm sure all of you remember direct and indirect variation from class 7. Now when do we say two quantities are in direct variation? Now here x and y, when do we say that they are in direct variation? If the quantity of x increases, causing an increase in the quantity of y. If both increase, then we say that they are in direct variation. If one increases, causing the other to decrease, then we say that is an inverse variation. So when you have a table like this, the first thing we need to do is check whether the two quantities are in direct variation. So here we're going to consider all these that is given to us. So this will be x1 and this will be y1. This is x2 and y2, x3 and y3, x4 and y4. So these are the four quantities given to us. Now we have been asked to find the values of A and B. So A and B are the unknown values. Now what are the values that are given to us? So let's take this. That means x1, y1 is given to us. We need to find the ratio of x1 and y1. So x1 by y1, this is equal to 3 by 18. Let's reduce it to the simplest form. Both are divisible by 3, isn't it? So 3 ones are 3. We can write that 3 ones are 3 and 3 sixes are 18. So here what did we take? We took x1 and y1 because both the quantities are known to us. Now we cannot take x2 and y2 because A is unknown. Similarly, we cannot take x3 and y3 because x3 is B, which is unknown. Whereas we can take this because both are known. So let's take that also. That is x4, y4. We're going to find the ratio. So 8 by 48 reduces to the lowest term. 8 and 48 are both divisible by 8 itself. So 8 ones are 8, 8 sixes are 48. So now can you see this ratio is 1 by 6, 1 is to 6, and this is also 1 is to 6. That means they are in direct variation. So what do we say? X and Y are in direct variation. Because the ratio of x to y is always constant. It's always 1 by 6. Here also it's 1 by 6. That means here also it should be 1 by 6. So what do we say? We can say that x and y are in direct variation. That means the quantities given to us, that is x1 by y1, will be equal to x2 by y2. This will be equal to x3 by y3, and this is equal to x4 by y4, and all these are equal to 1 by 6, which is a constant. So that means this unknown quantity here, 5 by A, is also equal to 1 by 6. So let's write that. So what does this mean? It means that 5 by A is equal to 1 by 6, and even B by 90. B by 90 is also equal to 1 by 6. Now we can find the values of A and B. We can cross multiply here. So when you cross multiply, we multiply 5 and 6 and we multiply 1 and 8. So 5 sixes are 30. So we can write that here. So 5 sixes are 30. And A into 1 is A. That means we have found the value of A. A is 30. And here also let's cross multiply. So when you cross multiply, you do B into 6 and 1 into 90. So B into 6 is 6B, which is equal to 90. That means B is equal to 90 divided by 6. And that is 15. 6 ones are 6. 6 into 15 is 90. So the answer here, B is equal to 15. So this is the value of B. So the answer is option B, where A is equal to 30 and B is equal to 15. So this is our answer to this question. Question 2. In 5 hours, a machine makes 45 screws. So in 12 hours, the same machine will make. Okay. So So here we need to first find out whether it's direct or inverse variation. So in 5 hours, 45 screws are made. Now if you increase the number of hours, the number of screws made also will increase, isn't it? So this is direct variation. So let the number of screws made by the machine be x. We don't know. This is what we're going to find out. Let that be x. So let's have a table. So in the table, we make columns like this. So the first one is the time in hours, and then we have the number of screws made. So what are we given here? We are given that in 5 hours, so let's write that. In 5 hours, 45 screws are made. So the number of screws made is 45. Now we are asked in 12 hours, how many screws are made? We don't know, so we said we'll call it X. Since we know that this is direct variation, all we have to do is say 5 by 45 is equal to 12 by x. And then we can cross multiply. We can cross multiply and find the value of x. So here we can say 5x is equal to 45 into 12. Now we're going to find the value of only x. So x is equal to 45 into 12, and we transpose that 5, the 5 that is with x, to the other side. It becomes division. Now let's cancel what we can. So 5 nines are 45. Now we just have to multiply 9 into 12. 9 into 12 is 108. So what have we found? We have found that x is equal to 108. And what is x? X is the number of screws which we did not know here, isn't it? So we have found the value of x, and that is 108, and that is option D. So we can mark that option D, 108 screws. Now let's do the same question in the arrow method. So in the arrow method, we make two columns based on what is given to us in the question. So here we have 5 hours and 45 screws. So we make two columns like this: time in hours and the number of screws. Now we have to fill in the quantities here. All the values, whatever is given in the question, we have to fill it into these two columns. So here we have 5 hours. So time in hours is 5. So we finish writing this. Then we have 45 screws. Look out for the numbers. So in 5 hours, 45 screws are made. Then continue. In 12 hours, how many screws are made is the question. We don't know, so we write that as X. So here we know that when the time increases, the number of screws made will also increase. So there is an increase in both the quantities. That means this is direct variation. So in the arrow method, we draw arrows, and the arrows, if it is direct variation, we put it in the same direction. So we have one arrow coming down like this, another arrow coming down like this. So can you see? So when it is direct variation, the arrows point in the same direction. If it is inverse variation, one arrow will point in one direction and the other arrow will point in the opposite direction. So when both are in the same direction, you're talking about direct variation. So now what we have to do is look at where the arrowhead is pointing. We'll take the first column. The arrowhead is pointing to 12, isn't it? It's close to 12. It's close to 12, so we write that first. So whichever number is close to the arrowhead, we write that first and put the other number below. So we have 12 by 5. Similarly, here also, see the arrowhead, and what is close to the arrowhead? X is close to the arrowhead. So we write that first. Whatever is close to the arrowhead, we write that on top and the other number below in the form of a fraction. Now we do cross multiplication. We multiply these two numbers here. We cross multiply, and here also we cross multiply. So what do we have here? We have 12 into 45. So let's write that. So that is 12 into 45 is equal to x into 5. We have cross multiplied. Now we are going to find only the value of x. So we say x is equal to, what do we have on the other side of x? 12 into 45. Now we are going to move this 5 to the other side. So it becomes division divided by 5. Now let's cancel. 5 ones are 5 and 5 nines are 45. Now we just have to multiply 12 into 9. So 12 into 9 is 108. So we've got our answer. The number of screws is 108 and that is option D. This is our answer. Question 3. If the cost of 9 pence is 369 rupees, the cost of 1 dozen pence, 1 dozen means how many? That will be 12. 12 pence, what will the cost be? Same make, the pens are of the same kind. What will the cost be? So, let's first write down the steps. Cost of 9 pence, that is 369 rupees. And now we're going to find the cost of 12 pence. So, let the cost of 12 pence be x. Let it be x. So now we're going to have our table here. So number of pens, let's write what's given to us, 9 pens and 1 dozen pens, isn't it? It's given to us. Cost in rupees, 9 pens cost 369 rupees, 12 pens we don't know. So this is direct variation. So if it is direct variation, we can write down directly 9 by 369 is equal to 12 by x. And just do cross multiplication and multiply 9 and x and 369 and 12. So now when we multiply, what do we get? 9 into x is equal to 12 into 369. So now we're going to find only the value of x. So x will be 12 into 369 divided by 9. We can cancel 9 and 369. 9 ones. Here 9 fours are 36 and 9 ones are 9. So that is 41. Now we have to multiply 12 into 41 and that is equal to 492. So we have found x. X is equal to 492 and what is x? X is the cost of 12 pence. Here we said let the cost of 12 pence be x and we have found that to be 492. So since it is a cost we say rupees 492 and that is option D. So that's our answer, option D, 492 rupees. So let's do the same question in the arrow method. So cost of 9 pence we know is given to us 369 rupees. We don't know the cost of 12 pence, so we said let it be x. So now the arrow method. In the arrow method, we have to make two columns. So the first column will be number of pence and the second column will be the cost in rupees. So this is based on the question given to us. So number of pence, 9 pence. The cost of 9 pence is 369 rupees. Then we are asked to find the cost of 1 dozen pence. 1 dozen is 12 and we don't know what the cost is. So we said let it be x. And since we know it's direct proportion, we can draw our arrows pointing in the same direction. So it's in this direction, both in the same direction. So remember, if it is direct variation, then you draw the arrowheads pointing in the same direction, either downwards or upwards, but both should be in the same direction. Now, to frame your question here, to get your steps here, now look at 12 and that is pointing towards the arrowhead. So whatever is pointing towards the arrowhead, that should be written as the numerator and the other number as the denominator. Similarly, on the other side, it's pointing towards x, the arrowhead. So we write x by 369 and they are equal to each other. Now we do cross multiplication. We multiply these two and these two. So now let's continue. So what do we get here? We get 12 into 369. 12 into 369 is equal to x into 9. So now to find the value of x, we say x is equal to 12 into 369 divided by 9. We can cancel 9 fours are 36, 9 ones are 9. So 12 into 41 is 492. 492 and this is the value of x. And what is x? What did we say in the beginning? Let the cost of 12 pence be x. So we have found the cost of 12 pence and that is rupees 492 and that is option D, 492. Question 4. If y varies directly to x, so we are talking about a direct variation here. Y is varying directly to x, so direct variation. And y is 80 when x is 400. We have to find the value of y when x is 25. So let's write this. When x is equal to 400, what is the value of y? 80. So when x is 25, we are asked to find the value of y. So let's consider the value of y to be a. So let's make a table. We have a table here. So let's write x and y. So when the value of x, I'm following this, when the value of x is 400, what is the value of y? 80. Now, when x is 25, the value of y, let it be a, and we need to find that out. So since this is direct variation, we just have to write this and write this in the form of fractions. So that is 400 by 80 is equal to 25 by a. Now to find a, we just have to cross multiply. Cross multiply these two. So what do we have here? We have 400 into a is equal to 25 into 80. So now we can find the value of A. A is equal to 25 into 80 divided by 400. Now let's cancel what we can. We can cancel this. Now we have can also cancel 8 and 40. 8 fives are 40. We can cancel 5 and 25. 5 fives are 25. So the only number left is 5. So the value of A is 5. That is, and what is A? A is y. So here we have found the value of y. Y is equal to 5. And which option is that? That is option A, 5. So this is our answer. Question 5. A man working 48 hours per week earns 2,400 rupees. If he works for 36 hours per week, how much will he earn? So he was working for 48 hours. Now the number of hours has decreased. So if he's earning so much in 48 hours, the amount that he will earn will also decrease because the number of hours that he has worked is decreased. So that means this is direct variation. So let's begin. Let the amount earned if he works for 36 hours per week be x. So this is what we don't know. So let this be x. So now we have our table, number of hours and the amount earned in rupees. So let's go to the question. 48 hours. If he works in 48 hours, he will earn 2,400 rupees. So 2,400. Now 36 hours per week, we don't know how much he's going to earn, so that is x. So this is direct variation. So we can say 48 by 2400 is equal to 36 by x. Now we can do cross multiplication and find the answer. So this is cross multiplication here. So here what do we have? 48 into x. 48 into x is equal to 36 into 2400. So now we're going to find the value of x. X is equal to 36 into 2400 divided by 48. So let's see what we can cancel here. Let's use 12 and cancel 36 and 48. 12 threes are 36, 12 fours are 48. Now we can cancel 2400 by 4. 4 ones are 4 and 4 sixes are 24 and add the two zeros. Now multiply the two. 3 into 600. So x is equal to 3 sixes are 18 and add the two zeros. That is 1800. So this is our answer. The amount earned if he works for 36 hours per week is x, we said, and that x we have found to be 1800, and that is option D. Option D, rupees. Option C, I'm sorry, rupees 1800. So this is our answer. We are now going to do the same sum in the arrow method. Let the amount earned if he works for 36 hours per week be x. So this we don't know, we're going to write it as x. Now we're going to do the arrow method. So in this we make two columns based on what is given to us. So we've been given the number of hours and the amount that he has earned in rupees. So these two columns we have got. Now let's write the quantities in this. So we have 48 hours. So let's write that in 48 hours he earns 2,400 rupees. Now in 36 hours, that means the hours have reduced. So if the hours reduce, the amount earned also will reduce, and we don't know what that amount is, so this is X. So here what do we see? The number of hours have reduced from 48 to 36, so the amount earned also will reduce. That means this is direct variation. So we draw our arrow marks like this, where we say that both are decreasing. Now you can draw your arrow marks either upwards or downwards, but when it is direct variation, both the arrowheads should be in the same direction. So now look at what the arrowhead is pointing at. It's pointing at 48. So we write that as the numerator and 36 as the denominator, and this is equal to, again, what is the arrowhead pointing at? It's pointing at 2400. So we write 2400, and in the denominator we write X. So this is how we get it, what this means. Now we're going to cross multiply. Cross multiply X and 48 and 36 and 2400. So what do we get when we do that? We get 48 into X is equal to 2400 into 36. Now we can find the value of only X. We can say 2400 into 36 divided by 48. We can cancel 36 and 48 by 12. 12 threes are 36, 12 fours are 48. Now we can cancel 2404. So 4 ones are 4 and 4 sixes are 24, and add the 2 zeros. 600. So now we can multiply. What do we get? X is equal to 600 into 3 is 1800. So we found the value of X, and that is option C, 1800. This is the amount he will earn if he works for 36 hours per week. We will stop with this for now, children. In our next video, we will continue with the remaining questions. Thank you, children.